Hello, I'm Lay Lemonade, or you can call me Allie. This video is going to be about resin. I just uploaded a video about cold porcelain, so I thought it would be fitting now to talk about resin. So this is the type of resin I use. It's the Envirotex Light Pour-On High Gloss Finish resin. I bought both of these at Michael's. This one here is the 16 fluid ounce container. This one cost around $33. This is the 32 fluid ounce of resin, so it's double the size of this one, and this one cost $45 at Michael's. Now, I did use the 40% off coupon on both of these, so it was much more affordable than the $35, $45, and $33 that it would have cost if I hadn't used the coupon. This one's actually the first box of resin I've ever used. It's actually finished right now. I finished it a couple of weeks ago, and the bottles are really disgusting, and so is the box because I accidentally got it wet, so now it's just this tatty box. Also, the bottles are upside down because they are finished and they're really sticky. I need to dispose of this properly because resin is considered, a chemical, and it can be seen as dangerous. This needs to be disposed of properly, just not tossed into a landfill. I'm going to put this away and set it to the side and continue talking to you about my resin. So this one is the brand new box of 32 fluid ounce resin, and I want to get into it, but I thought, you know what, I should probably make a video before the bottles get all sticky and gunky. So this is what it looks like on the inside. It comes with, the instructions telling you it is dangerous and some things that you need to know before making or using resin. So it tells you about tools, coverage, measure. It tells you about coverage if you're pouring it on tables to varnish it like this picture is showing here. It just gives you a whole bunch of tips. I do recommend you read this before you start playing around with your resin. So here are what the bottles look like. This is part A, and you can see that big warning, danger, poison, irritant message. And this is part B, and it is yellow. Yours should be a little less yellow. This has been sitting around for well over a year, so yeah, the piece won't be yellow though, and I can just leave it out in the sun and it should change color. And it's telling you this one is corrosive and poisonous. So resin is not something that you should think of lightly. They are chemicals that you mix together. It emits fumes, and whenever I get it on my hands, it's just really, really gross and nasty. That's why I'm going to recommend, if you do choose to start working with resin, always, always, always use rubber gloves. These are disposable gloves. You can pick them up at the dollar store. They are really, really useful, not just for resin, for, cleaning around the house or, picking up dirty things. I don't know. Rubber gloves are really great. I recommend those if you're working with resin especially. And another thing I would highly recommend is some sort of face mask protection breathing apparatus. What I use is, let me get this in frame, is a half face piece. It's a mask. It's made of silicone, and it looks like this. I recently did a craft area tour, and I showed this in the bag. So this is what it looks like out of the bag. It's got two breathing intake areas, and this is where you expel the air that you've already breathed in through here. This is just so you're not breathing in resin fumes, especially if you're doing it in an enclosed area. You want to be really, really careful, guys. So that's what it looks like on the inside. There's like two little knobbly bits and this little piece over here of mesh. You breathe in through here, like I was saying, and expel out here. So there's that. This goes on top of your head, and these two strap at the back of your neck, securing it to your face. Another thing I want to mention is that you should do this not in an enclosed space, but if you can't, at least wear some facial protection. Now, once you've made your resin piece, or to make your resin piece, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need something to mix in and mix with. I use these little, ooh, almost dropped it, plastic cups. And what I do is I sometimes mark the halfway point or halfway of this resin, because this resin is half and half. And as you can see back here, I've got Little Windows resin. I have not used this. I purchased this after this. I've had this, like I said, well over a year, but there was a sale going on, so I picked this up. This is Little Windows. This one is a different mixing ratio. This is the part A and this is part B. This is the hardener. As you can see, the hardener is much smaller, whereas this one is the same size. So mixing ratio for this one, I believe the Little Windows one is 1:2. This one's 1:1. So you're gonna mix half and half for this one. That's why I put markings on here to see the halfway point, and I make the batch according to how much I've already used. Speaking of that, you're going to need molds to pour your resin in. This was the very first actual resin mold I got. This is number 33610. It's a great mold. I do recommend it if you can't find anything else. There are a bunch of different shapes, and it's really fantastic. These molds are a little hard and difficult to pop out your pieces, so I like to just throw them into the freezer, wait a couple minutes, and then take them out, and the temperature change allows you to pop out your piece easier. Another thing you can use are silicone molds like this one. Silicone is actually really great for resin because you can pop out your piece sooner than you could pop it out of a hard plastic mold, and you can, oops, I dropped it. You can put your eye pin or something else in there before it hardens completely. It would be an eye pin generally, or eye screw. That kind of sounds like an weird Apple product. Anyways, the way you are going to be putting on, making your resin piece into jewelry. So this is what a finished resin piece looks like. This is just, there's nothing on it. It's just a completed resin piece. It's got a little donut sticker in there. And you can attach something to it in a variety of ways. This is another resin piece that I've got sitting on the side. First off, you can attach a bail. A bail looks like this, or at least the ones I have do. This is a leaf bail. Looks like this. This is where you put the glue, and then you stick it to your piece. This is what a piece with a bail looks like that has been glued. Let me put my hand back here so my camera can focus. So this is a piglet piece with micro marbles, and that's what the back looks like once it's glued on. So then you just string a cord necklace through here, and you can wear it around your neck. Another thing you can do is stick something like this. If I can show you. This is an eye pin. I don't have any eye screws to show you, but eye pin, these can be inserted into silicone if you pop it out quickly, or you can even insert it into resin by using something like a Dremel. This is my Dremel, and this is my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tool. I adore it so much. I would recommend one, but you don't need one. You can also use a jewelry drill as well. I've seen those being used also. I prefer the Dremel since it is a power tool. You can use it in a variety of different ways rather than just jewelry. So here's the Dremel, and you can drill it into your piece and then stick in the eye pin, or you can drill a hole at the top of your resin piece and thread a jump ring through, and then you can put a cord necklace through. So those are the variety of ways that you can make your piece into a jewelry. And there are a variety of other bits and bobs that you can purchase, such as this is Mold Release. I haven't really used it, but you can spray it on the inside of molds like this one, and they tell you that it'll make your piece easier to pop out. But I've heard that if you spray it on the inside, you get some weird bumpy residue because resin picks up the finish of the mold. So if your mold is shiny, your piece will be shiny. If your mold is dull, your piece will be dull. Resin picks up on those things, so if you put a spray on the inside, the oily film that this leaves to make it easier to pop out, also gets picked up in your piece, or at least there's a chance for that to happen. Next up, very quickly, before I end this video, I want to talk about glues. The first glue I've ever used is E6000. The tip is now glued shut to this bottle, and there is like punctures in this bottle, and I'm going to throw it away because this is not good. This worked quite well until it glued itself shut. I also bought this at Michael's. I also recently bought Quick Rip. I did show this in another video. I will be using and testing this product out. Another thing that I've used or will be using is Ultra Gel. I've used this for cold porcelain, not yet for resin. I will try it with resin. I recently bought a new bottle because this one had got some gunk inside and the glue is just not good anymore. It's invalid. So I bought a new one today. I will be trying it out with resin, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. I hope this helped, and until next time.